YouTube. Don't freak out. I've got something new and exciting today. And it'll only fly if I go over a ramp. It comes in a garbage bag, so you know what that means. We're opening it now. What is that thing? That looks so cool! 60 kilometers an hour? How fast is that in American?
Don't know.
I don't know how fast it is. Okay guys, we've got a new awesome car, not airplane. It's a racing model series, 1/14 scale, 4-wheel drive in red with handwritten check mark. We have this awesome driving XK. Guys, XK. The same people that bring you awesome other things, helicopters that I've reviewed, and they are awesome. We're gonna open this thing right now, and it is gonna be great. Because honestly, this thing reminds me, you don't know this about me, YouTube, but I used to have an RC10 when I was a kid. And I had a lot of money tied up in that little car. And it was awesome. But then life happened. And back in the day, I had to build these things from scratch. I remember putting together the pneumatics, or not the pneumatics, but the hydraulic springs and shocks and things like this. It was really fun, except for a kid, it wasn't fun at all. I just wanted to get it out of the box and drive it. So I'm just like, that is so awesome. Wow. That is so cool. Pneumatic tires. You hear that, guys? Looks like little turf tires. That's awesome. All the differential. Another differential. Man, this thing is like awesome. It's got a metal base on it. I don't know what metal that is, but I'm sure it's probably some awesome metal. We've got a charger. Okay, so you have to provide your own USB input, so probably the same as the rest. It's got a nut driver. And the packaging is really good, guys. XK never disappoints on packaging. I'm gonna give you guys a little secret. I had 2 different failed airplane attempts, which is why we've had a couple of cars, because to be honest with you, I was supposed to have the second airplane show up, never worked out. And I said, I'm gonna spare you guys the frustration and boredom. And so I just didn't review it.
And our weather is crappy.
Our weather has been horrific, guys.
Can't really fly.
So it comes with a manual. This model is not a toy. It's designed for users over 14 years of age. That's almost like English. You know?
Almost.
That's pretty good.
You can probably drive it then.
Yeah. Hold on. I don't understand these safety rules.
It's okay.
Wow, that's awesome. They show you how to take stuff apart. Guys, that's really helpful. Because here's the thing. One thing you'll learn about cars like this is that you're going to beat the crap out of them and then they're going to break. The nut driver is made of plastic. It's a little disappointing, but who cares? It's got a bunch of different sizes. You see that? That's pretty awesome. And then, of course, this comes with, this is ready to run or ready to drive or ready to fly or whatever you want to call it. It comes with a pistol style transmitter, which is pretty awesome. It's got this little steering wheel that's shaped like a wheel, and it's got a flat spot on it. That's a little disappointing. Trigger, forward and backward, got trims. Very light, doesn't feel super high quality. Looks like you need 4 AA's. Labels peeling here, no big deal. I don't really care about that. Looks like there's 2 modes. There's on and off, but the on is kind of like not, like if you were laying it like this, that would make sense, because I think on is universally a vertical symbol, not a horizontal. Nothing under here, so the box is empty. There's like no foam in this. That's crazy. So I'm happy about that though. This thing looks awesome. Look at the suspension on that thing. Man, that is so cool. And then these turnbuckles, that's like a one-piece turnbuckle here. That is so cool. I mean, these ball joints, everything's ball joints here. Can you give them a super close-up? I'm gonna have to pull this pin here in a second so you can see inside. Blacked out rims, plastic material. You've got this glue on there. By the way, if you need that glue, you can get that from a variety of different manufacturers, but the stuff I have, it's a flat black, and it seems to work pretty good from what I've been told. I've never actually used it before. See this? Those pins? Don't lay those on your countertop like this.
Nope.
You'll never find them.
So does this come with battery?
It does.
Oh, there it is.
RSR. Looks like it's got a Dean's connection or a T connector. That's kind of a bummer because I'll have to change my connectors to make that work. Looks like the receiver has an integral ESC. That's a little bit goofy. I don't like that. Look, it's new rather than used, the servo. Okay, and then this little torque, I think that's like an overload or torque converter or something like that. I don't know what they call those things. But it takes the load from the feedback here, so it won't strip out your servo quite as easy. But man, that has a lot of play, and I love the way the suspension works. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and undo this Velcro strap. Okay, so that's actually the plug where you would plug it in. So here's the battery. So the battery on a Dean's connector is a female, and then on the ESC, or in this case, the receiver slash ESC combo, it's actually got the male terminal. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out real quick. It looks like a brushed motor, which is a little bit of a bummer. There's a transmission and a little transfer case, and then all the U-joints and stuff look really nice, actually. I'm just kind of poking around to see how things look and feel. You can see the motor turning in here. They've got a cooling fan built into that. You can see the windings on it. That's pretty cool. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. Camera crew. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of neat. Obviously, brushed motors are not going to be as powerful for ounce or pound for pound. So it looks like this is a 2S pack. So we've got ground, cell 1, cell 2, and then of course the output, which is going to go out to the extremities of both because they're in series. So it says, please turn off the power switch and unplug the battery connector after use. So what they're telling you to do is don't charge this while it's in your car, is what they mean to say. There is quite a bit of heat sink here in that it's got a metal base, but what happens is when this thing catches on fire, you want to be able to put it out. So hopefully it won't catch on fire. Here's the charger. So you'll notice this has a balance plug on it. For those of you that aren't familiar with this, this is a Hextronics connector. That is a 2S connector, standard, I believe that's JST actually. But either way, it's a 2S connector, 2 cells in series, and you're like, but Brian, there's 3 pins, or 3 sockets in this case, and then 3 pins on the charger. Trust me, it's 2 cells in series. That's why it's 2S and not 2C. Although there is a C rating too, not to be confused. So, looks like you plug this into a USB port. That was just the zip tie.
Oh.
And in my case, I of course got these elaborate charging things here, but because it's a Dean's connector, I don't really have a good way of connecting this. On a balanced charger, of course, you have to plug to the main outputs and then to the balance plug. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and plug this into the factory unit. It tells you the voltage here. This is a 7.4 volts at 1500 milliamps. It says the date of manufacture, 2019. And this is the input's gonna be 5 volts at 0.5 through 2.5 amps. So the output is 7.4 volts at 2000 milliamps. So that's basically gonna be compatible with this, even though that's charging at more than 1C. 1C rate would be 1500 milliamps. So not that it's a big deal, you can charge a little bit higher than 1C. So that means this pack is probably like it's capable of charging at 2C. All right, so what we need to do is we need to get a USB adapter. We'll show you how to figure out if it's going to be compatible with this, and we'll get it plugged in, and we'll get some batteries in here, and we'll probably give you guys a quick run. All right, folks, so we got this little USB plug. It comes from an Asus tablet. Not that it matters, but what you want to do is you just want to make sure the output isn't going to exceed it. This is 5.2 volts at 1.35 amps. And you can see that right there. Can you see that, hon? Can you give them a close-up shot?
Hold still. Yep.
So this is how you make your chargers work, guys. You read the spec, and if you're outside of the spec, you find another one. Because there's like 4 million of these in your house, I guarantee it. And then this says input is 5 volts at 0.5 to 2.5 amps. Okay, so this is 1.35 amps, and this is a range of 0.5 to 2.5 amps. So it's not going to catch on fire if you operate at 1.5, even though this is 5.2 volts and this is 5 volts.
Okay.
Just look up Ohm's law. Anyway, I'm gonna plug this in. Okay, we'll plug this into the wall, and then I'm gonna teach you about this, guys, because that's what I do. I make the exciting boring. So this battery is not charged, as you can imagine. And I'll show you on this battery tester, okay? So there's a negative here and a positive here. The black wire is your negative, okay? So you can stick that in there. These things are cheap. You can get them all over the place. See how it says 7.69? That's the nominal. 3.84 volts and 3.85 volts. So that means that this battery is in storage mode. 4.2 volts is fully charged. 3.6, 3.5, that would be pretty much discharged, okay? The middle is where the chemistry is most stable. So that's why they're shipped that way. Now come look at this, guys. Flashing light. That means it's waiting for the battery, okay? What we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure we have our pins in the right direction. So you see how there's those little keys there? And then that light's on solid. So we'll come back to that in a few minutes and we'll see how it does. We'll see how fast it charges. It should charge it at faster than 1C. Typically at 1C, most batteries will charge in about an hour, okay? This is just another battery, nothing special about it. It's an Admiral pack, 1300 milliamps. This is a 30C pack. It is displayed as 30C. That pack is probably a 25C, maybe a 30C. I doubt it's any more than that because they get more expensive the higher the C rating. So you'll notice that this has a battery with 2 black wires in red. Well, the blackmost is gonna be common there. So there you go. So we're gonna just check. So that's 8.3 volts nominal, 4.16, and 4.14. What's cool about this is this battery is charged, so we can use it right now. But it's got an XT60 on it. An XT60, this is the connector that I use for a lot of my stuff. And I've built an adapter that will receive the XT60 and it will put it to a Dean's connector, okay? If you use adapters, just make sure that your polarity is right. The polarity should be pretty obvious because this is red for positive and black for negative. So the next thing we need to do is before I plug that in, I might as well go ahead and use a voltage alarm. It's nice to know a voltage alarm will help you keep from damaging your batteries. Batteries are fairly expensive, but you already know that because you bought one. So 4 batteries go in here. These are AA's, just run-of-the-mill AA's. We're using Rayovac high energy, nothing special about that. They did not come with the car. Don't expect them to. Chinese companies usually don't include these because it'll cost a lot to ship this from Hong Kong. Seriously. So, if you're wondering why that is, and plus, AA batteries are some of the cheapest that you can buy. So, this is off. We're going to turn it on. See, there's a flashing light there. This is 2.4 gigahertz. That just means the frequency that this operates within, making the exciting boring again. All right, so this battery is gonna fit just like the other one. Let's take a look at how well this fits. There's a little Velcro strap that's included. That's nice. Cars, I've noticed, are not real great for putting batteries in. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging. You wanna be nice to your leads. You don't wanna be putting a bunch of pressure on them all over the place. Hard packs are perfectly fine for cars. They're a little bit heavier, but in airplanes you have soft packs, and that's why mine are always soft like this. That's our problem.
Could be.
So we're gonna stick this down here and we're gonna make sure that we don't create a bind on the controls, which we won't because it's spinning out here. And then we're gonna make sure that with our adapter, we don't get into close contact with anything because obviously this car is expecting a different size pack by just a little bit bigger. 1300 milliamps is how big this one is, and we were provided a 1500 milliamps. So 1500 milliamps is a little bit bigger. The amount of time difference in runtime, it's totally dependent on how fast you drive. Okay, so now we're just gonna plug this in. The transmitter, we're gonna turn it on. Watch the flashy. Man, that thing is hard to plug in. There we go. We're just gonna wait a second. Oh, there's a switch for on off. You heard a beep. So this doesn't have a brushless motor, so don't expect a song and dance because brushless motors sing and brush motors typically don't.
Really?
It's already working. Yep, and look at that. Full control. It's not like it's just like that, like those crappy ones. And then let's just real slow. Ooh, that thing's gonna be speed. Ooh, it's gonna be fast. I can already tell. So at this point, I'm just gonna go ahead and real carefully be mindful of your antenna, okay? The antenna is right here and you're gonna be working around it. So kids, don't get really excited and break your antenna. If you break your antenna, this thing will continue to run until you get just far enough away that you can't stop it from hitting your little kid's sister or brother. And then you'll be like in big trouble with mom and dad. So don't do that. Put the pin in and then put the pin in. Okay. And guys, full disclosure, I'm not trying to trick anybody. I just have a charged battery. So we're going to use what I have. And we will come back and use the other battery in a few minutes. So first things first, we're just going to test things. I can tell that the trim is way off to this side. So to trim it, you've got throttle and then you got steering trim. So the trim, see that guys? That's the trim. Okay, so I just put it to the middle. You could also make a mechanical adjustment on the lever, on the actual linkage for the servo. I'm gonna see how, ooh, that's nice. I can really get some nice slow speed out of it. Which, by the way, you're not gonna wanna run this thing slow because it's gonna be awesome to see it go fast. But the mark of a quality car is gonna be how fast and how slow you can go. Look how slow you can go in reverse, guys. You can barely move it. Okay, I really just wanna do a wheelie off the counter, but my wife is watching. So the brakes do work. I just use them. That's braking. When you let go, after you stop. Ah! Let's see if it survives. Wow, that thing is fast. It's very fast.
Nice.
What do you think, hon?
Good thing we haven't gotten new furniture yet.
Well, I was gonna say, it's very speedy.
It's really fast.
And it's very low. It's low. It goes under everything. So let's see. Okay, so my trim is screwy. You see the wheels? Yeah, there we go. So we're trimming. So I'm going to try to trim it just a hair more. Oh, that's pretty good right there. Even going backward, it's crazy. Okay, let's show them a spin out on the carpet. Okay. Whoa, did you see that? That's my voltage alarm, folks. So don't let the voltage alarm warn you because I probably have that set for like one of my airplanes. But look at this thing pick up off the ground. Oh, wow. That thing has some power. Did you see the wheelie?
Yeah.
That is incredible. Oh, man. I don't think this is designed to run inside of people's living rooms.
Probably not.
But it's going to be pretty cool if you did. Whoa. Look at the marks on the floor. I love it. Okay, so we're going to have to take this outside in mere moments. But the control authority is just awesome. And then let's show them on the hardware. Oops. See, now I gotta warn you guys, this plane, when you run into things, it's going to be potentially damaging. And I'm just gonna show you this just so that my wife knows that I did it. I scratched the floor right there where it fell. Sorry. So we're gonna go outside and we're gonna try this. We'll get some lights, we'll see if we can see, and then we're gonna show you how awesome this thing is at full throttle. Okay, ready?
Yep.
So folks, we are going outside and it's cold and crappy. So forgive us now because it's a little bit windy. We're just gonna show you, because this is what you can do, kids. When you get big, you can do stupid things because it's your own house. I'm gonna see if I can drive over the threshold. And I don't want to destroy this thing, but we're doing it anyway. Oh yes, that was awesome. As you can see, it flies very well, just like an airplane, and it hasn't even broken yet. Oh yeah, it's right down the stairs. All right, hold on. We have to try it up the stairs here. I'm gonna go turn around. I don't want to give anything away, folks. I'm being very, very, very conservative. Wow, in the grass? Are you kidding me? It does so good for being a 1/14 scale. Now watch this, guys. Look at this, look at that. Don't even need a bumper because the way it hits in the 4-wheel drive, look at this. This is awesome. I don't even have to worry about hitting the bumper because the tires hit first. That is awesome. By the way, that voltage alarm, not really a big deal on this application. All right, let's go out where the light is. Man, that does really good in grass. Can you see it, guys? That thing is insane.
So fast.
lost it. Just kidding, guys. I didn't lose it. Oh no, I've crashed twice today. See, this is the fun of being an adult, is you can crash into your own stuff and nobody complains except for me later. Oh no! All right, I'll be back.
Yep. Jeez.
Man, that thing
Oh.
is fast, guys. I'm not trying to be pansy about it, but it's just kind of dark. And just, I love that you can get moving on the grass so well. Most of these little cars don't do. Oh, there's our adoptive cat. Let's scare the crap out of it.
Don't.
I know, sorry YouTube, I couldn't resist. That cat is wondering what the heck that creature is. Don't worry, folks, we love the cat, even though we didn't purchase it or anything. It just showed up.
Whatever. We feed him.
We
And
feed
gave
him.
him a house.
So, hun, on a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome is this?
That's pretty cool, actually.
So, that's not on a scale of 1 to 10.
Oh.
I
Well,
think it's pretty awesome.
on
I
a
think
scale
it's like an 8.
on a scale of 1 to 10, like buy it for your wife for Christmas, it's like a 0.
Hey, don't, no.
Buy it
your
for-
wife might want it.
Buy it for your 10-year-old for Christmas, it's like a 10.
No, not 10-year-olds. I'm not 10. I'm at least a few of those. Okay, I must say that the controllability, the 4-wheel drive is just a little on the lacking side because the differential must be getting a little bit more power because as you can see, it kind of stops turning when you go a little bit fast.
Okay, so how fast are you going? Is that like
Well, I
full
can't.
throttle or
It's supposed to
don't?
be like 30 kilometers an hour. I don't know if it's going 30 right now, but the battery isn't the factory battery.
It is pretty fast.
It's kind of like crazy, actually.
It's
The brakes work really well, too.
But the most disappointing thing, like when our kid gets a car, is don't scare the cat.
It's gonna scare the cat. The cat's probably gonna
He's
attack
right
it.
there. I know. He probably will. Is that as soon as he brings it outside, it's like super lame. This is not super lame.
And the only thing I can say, guys, is just be careful about trying to do donuts because you'll probably tear up the transmission in about 5 minutes. That would be the honest truth, guys. The Chinese won't want to admit to it, but it will absolutely destroy the tranny. And it'll do it in a fast order. Now, the other thing I'm noticing is the front end wants to lift so bad. It's like the spoiler on the back is cool, but really you kind of need that spoiler to not be there because all it's doing is sticking the back end down. You need a spoiler up front.
Did you put some weight in the front?
Well, when you're going really fast, you need to be able to... Oh, no. I tipped it over again. Imagine that. Yeah, you need a spoiler on the front to keep the wheels on the surface. Okay. So now, I just want to keep playing with it. This thing is awesome.
It is pretty cool.
See, you can do donuts, but you got to make sure you're moving the wheels a little bit. Otherwise, like I said, you'll destroy the tranny like immediately. I'm sure you could do a torture test on this, but I kind of want to keep it. I don't want to break this thing tonight. Okay, well, let's go inside and see how it looks, because I'm freezing. Are you?
Yes. Okay.
All right, guys. So the crazy part about this is that it's still using a brushed motor, and like, look how crazy fast it is. And look how awesome and controllable it is. I bet I can drive underneath these 3 stools without even thinking about it. And when I say not thinking about it, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. Ooh, see, I hit the, oop. I hit the sport. Oh, dang it. Dang it. Guys, this is a pretty controllable thing. Look at the torque it's got. Man, did you see me move that thing? I love it, guys. This thing is really cool. I don't know about you, but if you don't have one, you're going to want to get one because this thing is awesome. And you know what? The weather doesn't have to be perfect to play with it, which I'll be honest with you guys, airplanes are my mainstay. But it is cool to have something that you can go to when the weather's not great. I've got my plane ready to fly here, and I've got my car ready to drive when the weather's bad. This thing would be a blast in the snow. And there's some Black Friday specials that you wouldn't believe. All you gotta do is check the description. Banggood sent me this to review, and you guys can get a special just by using the code that they gave you down there. Follow the link, and then you'll get this for quite a bit less than standard retail. And I always try to get coupon codes for you when I can. It doesn't always work out, but this one I did, and I think it's gonna be a really good value. I just can't believe how much you're getting for that kind of money.
That's a good Christmas gift.
This is a really good Christmas gift.
It's not like a cheapo.
It's not a cheapo car.
It's,
and then
it's
look,
cool.
You can adjust all this stuff, guys. Look at this. I mean, I'm not gonna adjust it. I'm just gonna go drive it until it breaks into a million pieces, and then I'll maybe possibly fix it, because we have a 1/10 scale.
The Jeep.
No, not the Jeep. We have a 1/10 scale. It was a Hobby King product.
Oh, the pickup truck.
We blew out the rear end within a few weeks of getting it. I felt super bad for my son because it took 3.5 months on back order to get the parts. So this thing is so awesome. It's so much more affordable that you could probably just get two and then keep one for yourself. This is the transmitter. I like it. It's okay. It's nothing special. I wouldn't write any letters home about this. There are definitely some modes on there. I'm not sure what those modes do, but the manual may explain it. I'm not going to go through that trouble. This thing is awesome, guys. Go get one now and you won't be disappointed. Take my word for it. Follow the link below. This thing showed up from Hong Kong, China. Only superficial dings and bruises, but everything was intact, which is really nice. The cars seem to fare a little bit better because they're a little bit more robust. I mean, feel this thing. This thing is like, let's weigh it for the people at home. Let's weigh it. Let's put it on the scale. For those of you who don't know, I work on industrial scales for a living.
You do?
So I have a $30 scale that we got at Bed Bath & Beyond.
Well, before you worked on scales.
Before I worked.
We also have a very nice one in the basement.
We have a really nice one. Yes, that's true. Okay, so we're in ounces for those of you in European nations. The imperial system reports this as being 2 pounds, 3 7/8 ounces. And the metric system says 1,017 grams, also known as 1.017 kilos. That's pretty good. And that is with the slightly heavier, slightly lower performance battery. Let's look at the battery charger also before we wrap things up here. As you can see, this light is red, solid. Okay. When that goes to a flashing or off, one could conclude that this is done. Out of curiosity, we should check and see how much voltage we've used. Okay, check this out, guys. See, we're at 7.55 nominal. 7.55 nominal, 3.78, and 3.76. Which, to be perfectly honest, that doesn't test the car at all. The heatsink is warm. It's not hot, but it's also cold out. And the motor is warm. I would say that it's maybe 95 degrees. No, it's more than 95 degrees because it's warmer than my body temperature. It's got to be like 110. But it's not hot. It's handling my driving just fine. And what I was going to do real quick is I'm going to show you guys how much charge we have on that little battery charger right now, so you can see how it's performing. If I could get my stupid alarm out of here. There it is. So we'll take this thing. We're going to just interrupt the charging cycle. Try to grab from the plastic if you can. See how it goes to flashing. I assume that's what's going to happen when it's done. Black here. 2 cells. The nominal is 7.99. So 4.01, 3.99.
Going pretty quick.
Yep. And so if you have a balance charger, more standard configuration, I'm going to show you how to charge it on something like this. These are just a couple of different variety of chargers. I prefer my older one. I think it was made in a slightly better Chinese district than this one. So what we'll do is we'll just basically use, we can't use this, right? We can't use that. That doesn't work, does it?
Nope.
So what we're gonna have to do is we'll have to go and get an adapter out of the box of adapters, and we'll come right back. Good news, folks. I had an adapter. So this adapter will allow me to plug into the Dean's connector, just verify your polarity. And by the way, for those of you that don't like to solder, don't feel bad. You can go online and get adapters. It'll take you about 1 second to search for them. I'm using XT60 packs, which is why I have everything set up for XT60. If you bought 10 of these cars and you had only Dean's connectors, you can get just Dean connectors. You don't have to do it my way. That just happens to be the way I'm set up. Some people use EC5, some people use EC3s. I got tons of adapters. So now I can plug this into a regular balance charger. In my case, it's got XT60s. And then you just plug this in to your regular balance charger, like this, on the 2S connection. You go to your LiPo selection. These all run almost exactly the same. Let's try to give them a screen setting. Okay, here we go. Here, is that decent?
It's better.
The lighting's pretty bad. Let's see if we can bring that down just a hair. There you go. Okay, so LiPo charge, LiPo balance, okay? I wanna charge. This is a 1500 milliamp pack, so we're gonna charge this at, I usually do half C, which is the easiest on your pack, so that'd be about half. And then it's not a 6S, it's gonna be a 2S, okay? Then it's gonna test it. You press and hold it to start. It's checking. I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna walk over and you can watch the voltages, just like what we just saw. Now, if you look down here, guys, basically this thing is gonna charge until it's done, or until it times out on this. It's gonna monitor it, and you can build yourself one of these, and you can balance charge these batteries. If you had 2 or 3 of them, you could charge them at the same time. You would just set the current accordingly, which is gonna be a little bit higher for the more packs. So that's a second way to charge. But the thing that's so nice about this, guys, this comes with it. This is invaluable. If you don't have other airplane stuff, other car stuff, other, crawler stuff or truck stuff, this is what you need. And a lot of cars do not come with this stuff. So you need to make sure you get one that's ready to run. XK does a great job of doing that. They always make a good product, and the products that they don't make, that they buy out, they usually do a good job of vetting them. If it's XK, it's gonna be a good product. 100% assembled, and it is truly 100% assembled. I had to trim it, it took me 3 seconds, and the 4-wheel drive is pretty sweet. I love it, guys. Very cool. Definitely get one. You won't be disappointed.